Hello everyone. Today I will be telling you guys a story about a guy and a girl who are on a cruise ship when time freezes for all passengers except for them. Enjoy the story. The guy, Jim, who is 20 years old, goes on a cruise with his family. His girlfriend and him broke up a few weeks ago because their relationship wasn't perfect. Jim had a 16-year-old little brother, and another little brother, who was 13 years old. The family booked to stay on the cruise for a week. When they boarded the cruise, Jim was super excited because he hadn't been on a cruise in 4 years. When the family got to their room, it was a room with a deck. They had rented out 2 rooms. One room for the parents, and a room for the younger boys. Everyone settled in and the boys hooked up their Xbox up to the TV in the room. Then they played some video games until the parents were all settled in too. When everyone was ready, they explored the ship. The parents said as long as everyone had their phone with them they could all go off on their own. Jim went to the hookup room, which is a room where only single people can go to find a mate. The problem was, there were only guys there. Jim decided to leave and see if there was an arcade. A few minutes later, Jim found the arcade. All of the games looked super fun, but then Jim found a game way in the back that looked neglected. It was called Time Freezer. Jim swiped his cruise card and the game powered on. It first said, "Congratulations. You are the first person to ever play this game." Jim was confused why nobody had played it before, but he just shrugged it off. But the game was pretty lame. All it did was ask Jim if he would like to freeze time, so he said sure as a joke. Then the game asked him if he would like to keep one other person unfrozen and he said yes. The final question asked him what time he would like time to stop. It was currently 2:30 in the afternoon, so he said 3 o'clock in the afternoon would be good. Then the game powered down. Jim thought the game was a joke and he was mad because the game took off 4 of his cruise points from his card, which was about $1 worth of money. Jim went to the dining hall to see if there was any good food to eat when he noticed something off. It was very strange. He couldn't find the pizza. He circled the dining hall twice but decided to just give up after 10 minutes of looking. It was now 2:45 p.m. Jim just had a burger instead. When he finished his burger, everyone stopped. At first he was very confused and a little scared, but then he checked his watch and saw it was 3 p.m. It was at that moment that he knew he screwed up. For a half hour, he was trying to figure out what to do, but then he remembered that he had wished for one other person to not be frozen. He got up and started running around the cruise and calling out, "Is anyone else here?" After an hour, he was about to give up when he heard someone else call out, "Hello?" Then he yelled some more and a few seconds later, they found each other. The girl introduced herself and said her name is Chelsea. Jim asked how old she was and she said today was her 20th birthday. Jim said he was also 20 years old and they immediately hit it off. Jim said that they should enjoy having time frozen so they can take advantage of it. Chelsea agreed and Jim said they should hit the water slides. Chelsea liked that idea and they both got into their bathing suits, but they didn't separate. First, they went to Chelsea's suite, which was the fanciest one on the ship with 2 floors. Jim saw her family. Chelsea got into her bathing suit and Jim tried not to look, but he couldn't resist. He took a little peep and saw everything, so he immediately looked away. Luckily, Chelsea didn't see him peek. Then, they went to Jim's place. Chelsea did the exact same thing, but she wasn't quick enough because Jim saw her peek. He called her out on it, but in a very nice way. Jim was happy this happened because now he could admit that he also peeked. They both laughed and then went to the water slides. They had a lot of fun. Then they had a delicious meal. They were already falling in love with each other. At around 10 p.m., they both went to Chelsea's bed to have some fun. Then they slept with each other that night. The next morning, they told each other that they should unfreeze time. Jim showed Chelsea the game where he froze the time and he powered it on. It took 4 more cruise points from his card, but he didn't really care. The experience was definitely worth the money. An option came up on the screen that said, "Did you enjoy?" with 2 winking emojis. Jim selected the yes option. Then the game said, "Would you like to unfreeze time now?" And Jim said yes. Then, time unfroze and things went back to normal. Then, Jim asked Chelsea if they could continue dating and she said no. Jim asked her why not and then she started laughing and said she was kidding. They hung out for the rest of the cruise trip and after it was over, they exchanged phone numbers and addresses. Jim couldn't believe this. But Chelsea only lived about 10 minutes away from him, so they continued to date after the cruise. One day, they got married and had kids. The end.